So let me just start off with the first house. We have the world. I feel like, so the first house is basically the rising sign. It's the face that you show to the world, the energy that you're coming into the month of February with. The world is basically a major, major cycle that has ended and a new cycle is beginning. So it's kind of like that growth spurt where you feel almost as if you have matured 5 years, 10 years, spiritually, emotionally. I feel like there was something that was a big, heavy experience that you overcome, and now it's no longer blocking your progress. Going back to the mid-month reading that I did for you guys, there were a lot of blockages, and I feel like some of you have overcome them, stepped out of them, and you're no longer afraid of what the future has to hold. So you're a lot more open-minded coming into this month. There's a lot of travel, publication, publishing for many of you, writing assignments. I feel a lot of you are either retiring or graduating from school, like from universities, from high school, and things like that. And I also feel like a major phase of cycle of your life has ended and something now new is beginning. And this card literally just basically indicates, travel plans on the horizon for you guys for the month of February. It looks very good. What's coming through in your second house, this deals with finances as well as your values. In terms of your financial opportunities, there will be a lot of clients for those of you who are working on a client basis, portfolio basis, or even doing sales or doing self-employment gigs. There will be a lot of clients. There will be a few competitors, but I feel that you are in high demand. Okay. It's almost as if you might have to turn down some people so that you can make the time for yourself to take care of things that are already on your plate. Okay. So I feel a lot of opportunities for financial windfall to come through and a lot of payments. If in the past they might have been like delinquent payments coming to you, I feel like this is the month in which you are rectifying them. So work seems to me to be very busy for many of you. Okay. In terms of your value system, I feel almost as if you're going to be put in a position where you really need to stand for what you believe in. You need to stand in your own truth. You need to own up to the things that you've been doing you need to hold people accountable for the things that they've been doing as well. So I feel it's not a conflict card so much, but I feel like the conflict might be a little bit more, it's almost like your environment is creating, opportunities for a lot of things to happen at the same time. So I feel like a little bit of a time crunch as well coming through for many of you. But I feel that either way, when it comes to your depth values, you are going to be in a position where you need to defend your values. You need to defend what you believe, and you need to soldier on and not back away from conflict. Okay. Now, Scorpio, you are a very, very fierce sign. You're very, very fierce. And I feel like as an opponent, people would love to have you on their side, but you're almost like an indomitable opponent. So I feel that while some of you might feel inclined to fight, it just depends on the situation. But I feel like if you are just in defending your internal values, your value system, the things that you truly believe in, then I feel like you're not going to back down. Okay. So it's a very fierce, strong card for your money and value sector. In terms of your third house, we have here an air sign. So let me talk about this. The third house stands for communication. It also stands for siblings. So let me just talk about this in terms of a person. I feel like you might have a sibling for those of you who have siblings. And for those of you who do not, who are like only child and you don't have a sibling, you can just gloss over this part. There is a person that's in your life. This is an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra. This is somebody that has gone through a major cathartic, I feel like, experience where they have also grown and aged. Okay. So they're getting wiser and they're getting smarter. And I feel like they have also had a very, very rough life, where they are a little bit jaded and I feel a little bit bitter. And they're at a point where I feel like they might be making an emotional decision with their mind. So that means they're applying logic and reason and rationality into an emotionally charged situation. So in a way, it could be good or bad. They can help people cut through the fog. However, they seem to be almost like cold and calculating to the point where you just want to, tell them to soften up. So I feel like if this is a sibling of yours, you're going to be dealing with this person and you're going to need to, tell them to soften up a little bit. On the other hand, if you're the one coming to them for advice, they're going to give you a dose of the truth. It might feel a little bit painful, but it's done in the spirit of objectivity, in the spirit of, growth, in the spirit of truth. So take it with a grain of salt. On top of that, when it comes to your communication, I feel like many of you are coming into the, this energy. This is the apex of that, the suit of communication, of mental processes. Your mind is going to be hyper vigilant, is going to be very alert. You are absorbing information really well. I believe Virgo also got this card. And basically what it means is that no one is going to be able to one up you. So whatever is happening behind the radar, I feel like you're getting information. Whatever you suspected, I feel like you're going to get proof. So there's an element here about having a very keen sense of awareness, okay? Being aware of like people's motives, intentions, being able to thoroughly glance at a situation and be able to assess or, summarize that whole situation. So I feel like your mind is on hyperactive, like overdrive. You're going to be really well received when it comes to communication, okay? Just make sure to temper this rationality, objectivity with a little bit of, make allowances for people, soften it up just a little bit. I feel like it's going to serve you well. In terms of your fourth house, and the fourth house deals with family, it deals with the mother. So I feel like for some of you, they're mentioning like anniversaries. So if your mother, if your parents are still together or if your mother remarried, they're saying something about happy events related to the mother, anniversaries, even birthdays for some of you, if you have, mothers. I'm seeing some type of like a successful change or, getting proper accolades, getting success with the mother. So she might have, like a achievement, ceremony, and then you might be there for that. So I feel like there's a lot of, professional achievements like related to the mother figure. Okay. She is also somebody that seems to me to be very business oriented, very professional, and very accomplished in her field. And so they're telling you, if there are certain things that you can, if there is something that you feel, that you need some help on when it comes to work, when it comes to career, I feel that approaching your mother, she can give you some very strong guidance. Okay. And gloss over that part as well for those of you who might not know your mother or who, this does not apply to. So in terms of your family life, this is a card about abundance, prosperity, and joy and contentment, okay? So I feel almost as if there's an energy of a new person coming into your environment, your home environment. So you might be sharing space with them. You might be living with them, but there's something new bubbling, brewing in your home environment. So I usually think of this card as like celebrating a birthday at home, somebody's birthday, or even your birthday if you're not a Scorpio and you're a Scorpio moon or a Scorpio rising and you're watching this. So they're saying some celebration parties, house parties is greatly indicated with this card. But I also feel the energy of a fire sign, okay? So Sagittarius, Aries, and Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising, permeating in your house environment, and it's bringing a much needed change of scenery. It's like melting the frost. So if there has been some type of, conflict in the home environment, I feel like the frost is being melted. There's going to be a peace offering. There's going to be a lot of generosity and giving. Even peace treaties is what I'm sensing coming into your home environment. The fifth house deals with recreation, fun, creativity, and it also deals with children. I believe I mentioned children. So creativity, fun, and also the people that you are entertaining with, okay, and like you're going out with. So with the Fool, this is basically indicative of some of you putting yourself out there, meeting new people, chit-chatting with new people. And you might also try to do a lot of outdoor activities that in the past you might not have done. I'm seeing a lot of people cycling, swimming, even camping for, extended periods of time. Moving, like traveling. Traveling is highly indicated in this spread. Traveling to a new environment that you haven't been to, or even returning to an environment that you were in before. And I feel for some of you, traveling might indicate, going to an island type of environment, or going to a coastal area. So like along the either East Coast, West Coast, or even the Gulf Coast. So I feel like or if you're not in the States too, I feel like going to a place with a beach, a coastal area. So I feel like you're really packing your schedule, doing new activities, finding new ways to entertain yourself, and finding new things to do to stimulate your creativity and your passion. I keep seeing like some of you might have a new addition to the family, like a child or a pet, a dog, a cat, goldfish even. Like I keep seeing like they're saying like a new bundle of joy coming through, but the bundle looks very small. It doesn't look like it's a kid size. So I feel like a pet, an animal, a hamster, something like that coming into your home environment. I feel like some of you are meeting new people, like online dating even, or dating, like speed dating, dating in the real world. But either way, I feel that you're meeting new people. Okay. And I feel like you're heading into it very enthusiastically. And it looks good because the direction that is headed here is the sun, which indicates a lot of generosity, and a lot of good vibration, like good energies. So in terms of your sixth house, the sixth house rules the daily routine, the work environment, as well as the health sector. So let me talk about your daily routine. I feel like you have a very, very routinized type of a routine, okay? So I feel like it's all in order. Everything's going according to plan, so that's great. When it comes to your health, the Justice card is indicative of balance. So it's basically telling you whatever you put in is what you're going to get. So this might serve as a warning for some. There might be a little bit of weight gain. I'm seeing more weight gain rather than weight loss with this spread. So I feel like you're doing more physical activities overall. So I feel like few of you might be a little bit self-conscious about the weight gain, but I feel like, they're pretty much telling you, try to balance it out. Whatever you put in is what you're going to get out. So I do see like, you want to be conscientious about what you're putting in your body. And then, in terms of the, balance, the Justice card, for some of you that might have been worried about some tests, like lab tests, diagnostic tests, health exams, and things like that. I feel like you're in good health. Okay, you're getting some type of a clean bill of health. If you're going to the dentist, no cavities. So I feel like this is a very positive card as it relates to your health sector. Work as well. Whatever you put in is what you're going to get out. And I feel like you're in a very good space right now. A lot of you might actually be in the legal profession. And I feel like you're doing a lot of consultations. You're also like going to trial as well for some of you that are in the legal profession. And even students that are in law school as well. I'm seeing a lot of that in this spread. And what I'm also feeling as well is it feels to me as if you're in high demand. So whatever you put in is what you're going to get out. So I feel like you're in high demand. A lot of people are asking for your services. They're looking for you to have consultations with them. So overall, it looks very good with this here in your sixth house. Now, the seventh house deals with relationships in love and also in partnerships. So this is a splendid card. It basically means, all systems go, green light, seeing eye to eye, you and a partner working together despite your differences. And I feel like I keep seeing some of you are dating foreigners, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just trying to emphasize that. I feel like some of you are dating somebody who is either culturally, linguistically, or just physically just very different from you. So I feel like, it brings a lot of new energy. It brings a lot of excitement. It brings a lot of chemistry, passion. It brings a lot of like curiosity. I feel like it's a very inquisitive energy. And I feel like in the past, you might have, you might have, if it's a relationship partner in love, you might have had your differences. But this is a card that indicates you're working together, you're compromising, you're trying to see eye to eye so that you can move forward together as a unit. Okay, so it's like the two horses pulling the chariot in one direction, and they're cooperating rather than working at cross purposes with one another. And then on top of that, in terms of business partnerships as well, I feel like, whatever has been stalled, it's ending. So you're getting a new cycle where things are going to move forward in the manner that you'd hope. So it's a very good energy. Eighth house deals with joint finances. Joint finances. I feel like some of you needed to fix some type of a joint financial arrangement with another person. Okay, so that's just the bottom line. You realize it might not have been working, and you also might realize that the other person did not want to cooperate. So I do feel there is conflict coming through. It might have come through already in January, and now it's being finalized. It's being left behind. But I feel like there's a contractual agreement when it comes to like joint finances, even joint custody. That's also another thing that I'm seeing. Joint custody with children, joint finances in terms of like custody issues, or even, like they're saying settlements as well. I feel like it's being put to an end. This might have been something you were dealing with in January, and I feel like it's being cleared up for you. Okay. The ninth house deals with travel. And going back to this card, I feel like you and another person, like a partner, might be traveling together. Okay. So you literally could just be traveling by land, in a car, traveling by bus, something like that, taking a trip with a partner, like, that retreat with a partner. And it's going to be very good for the two of you to really strengthen the relationship. So going back to the ninth house, the ninth house deals with higher education. It also deals with long distance travel. I feel like, with this card in the reverse position, some of you might be at a distance from a significant other as well. This is considered the long distance card. You're coming together, and then you might, go your separate ways again. So I feel like your work situation might be hindering your ability to take days off in order to do some long-term travel. And then others of you, I feel like you're thinking about school. You're thinking about returning back to school for many of you. You're thinking about like going back and finishing up that one course that I didn't finish in order to get my degree. So I feel like there's heavy energy here about longing, about wanting that opportunity, about wanting to create that opportunity so that you can return to school and that you can even implement some type of a long-term travel. So good card overall. And it's the only reverse card, which is really interesting. 10th house deals with, let me see, the career sector. Okay, long-term career. A lot of you are in the consultation business. You're doing consultation or you're doing sales. And I feel like you are in a very, very public environment. You're showing people how to do something. So I feel like you have some mastery over your skills, and you're sharing your knowledge, and you're kind of like the expert in your field. Some of you might be working together with other people to build something of value. So I'm seeing a lot of like, public servants, like civil servants, public servants, people in the government industry, also people in the teaching profession. And I feel like these are really, really good professions for you to be in, because I feel that you want work that is very dynamic. You want work that is not stagnant. And so any type of a learning environment is going to be very, very good for you. Any type of political work as well, activism, working in pro bono cases, and even like advocacy work, I feel would be really appropriate for you, because it's dynamic. It gives you a sense of purpose. And it's also something that you love because you want to learn and you want to help people. And so I feel that for those of you who are in academia, it's a really good profession, and you're meant to take the spotlight so that you can teach people the correct way. So I feel like most of you might be, so for example, at let me just say at like institution of higher learning, for example, I feel that, people can take two route. One, some people choose to teach, other people choose to research and publish. And I feel like some of you are doing both, which is great. But I feel like you're meant for the classroom. You're meant to teach. You're meant to show people how to do things in a very systematic, organized manner. And I feel like you would make a really, really good teacher. I also do see some public, people in the public sector, politicians as well. And I do feel like advocacy work. So you are very involved in your community. You are very involved with other people, group organizations as well. And I feel like you're going to be rubbing elbows with people who are in positions of authority. In your 11th house, we have here friends and group associations. And we have the Emperor. And the Emperor is, usually shows up to point us to the way that we're supposed to go. And with this card falling in your 11th house, it basically means, ask your friends for help, ask your group associations for help, ask your professional contacts for help, because they're coming through here as a card that indicates karma. And this is where you have accumulated a lot of good karmic points. So you're going to be able to draw from this sector of your life in order to move projects along, in order to, find clients, in order to leave behind, break away from contracts that are no longer working for you, so that you can move on ahead with new business partnerships, even with new collaborators, and even with new success opportunities. So I feel like they're telling you, cultivate your friendships, cultivate your professional networks, because they're going to help you in a multitude of ways, okay? Now, the 12th house deals with secrets. It's a house of institutions, but for the sake of this reading, I'm just going to keep things simple by talking about secrets. So we have the High Priestess here, and I feel almost as if Scorpios, it feels to me as if you have some inside knowledge of some information and you're not divulging. That's what it feels like to me. And what I'm also sensing is like you have some very, very big, important piece of information, and I feel like it might relate to an authority figure. Like you might know something about an authority figure, and you're keeping your mouth shut about it. You're not divulging the secrets. You're not telling other people. So if that sounds like it's you, I just want you to think about this, okay? I feel like you have such a poker face. And I feel like that person, they're just like, does he know or does he not know? Does she know or does she not know? So they're kind of like playing this cat and mouse game with you to see how much you know. And they're hoping that you might slip up. And I feel like you are aware of that because, you're very sharp. Your communication is very methodical. It's very calculated for this month. And I feel like you're going to be put in a position, a big, big position this month, where you might have to speak in front of people who might be, on top of their field. You might also be in an environment where I feel like you have to present a case. I'm seeing a lot of court issues, and you're very, very careful about what you reveal. So I feel like that's the case. There's something here. You have some information that you're privy to. And you're very, very careful about how much you reveal. And you're very careful about what information comes out of you. And at the same time, I feel like some of you might still be stuck on some type of a conflict in the past related to money. And you're trying to figure out where the source of the money is, or you're trying to figure out some dealings as it relates to past money, okay? So you're still dwelling on some situation from the past and you're trying to dig out some answers, unearth some answers.